outsiders, the world of massively multiplayer online role-playing games is populated by socially awkward, gawky teens who can only communicate to each other through the medium of questing. Now, this isn't entirely true, but forming a guild and prodding a dragon for 5 hours isn't to everyone's taste, let's face it. So when Need for Speed World pulled up and offered massively multiplayer online racing, we just had to have a go. Let's see what it's got right and how it stacks up in comparison to other MMOs. Need for Speed World plays like a hybrid of other open-world Need for Speed games like Undercover and the player-populated lands of World of Warcraft. The basic idea is simple: illegal street racing in a city populated by fellow gamers and computer-controlled coppers. As you cruise the streets in your personalized car, you'll see other players tearing about, engaging in races, and chit-chatting to each other in laybys. Player interaction is limited to inviting friends into groups, challenging rivals, and comparing stats, which is a shame considering that most MMOs, Warcraft included, pin their gameplay firmly to player interaction at every level. As it stands, Need for Speed World plays incredibly similarly to your standard offline title. Only difference is that rival races sometimes disappear mid-race. There are 4 basic game modes in Need for Speed World: exploration of the city, which can be entirely avoided using quick travel on the map; sprints and circuits, which are both race types; and pursuit, where you flee the long arm of the law. Races and pursuit are both fun and will take up the bulk of your game time, but we can't help but feel a little hemmed in by the clearly defined mode structure. The beauty of games like World of Warcraft are the myriad distractions that keep people from following rigid progression paths. But here, there's not a lot to do besides search out events or shop. Another big part of any MMO is player progression. There has to be a strong set of incentives to keep players coming back for more. This is perhaps where Need for Speed World struggles most. As a free-to-play title, you start off with limited funds and the choice of some lower-spec cars. As you earn in-game cash, you can modify your ride, add decals, and make it as garish as you like. But here's the kicker: if you want to purchase cars without putting an hour upon hour of repetitive racing, you can swap your real monies for in-game speed boost currency and unlock them straight off the bat. Only issue is the in-game cost often prices you out of the faster cars completely, which in turn makes it difficult to earn any in-game dosh without first splashing some proper cash. Sad, sad times, my friend. We've covered the gameplay and social aspects, but what's the open world of Need for Speed World like? Well, as we said earlier, there's a limited amount to do in the free roaming sections of the city. Cruising around and seeing the sights is fun at first, but quickly kind of loses its appeal when you realize you're not really progressing towards a new car or upgrade. This is especially grating considering the amount of grinding it takes just to progress one level. The city is vast and the locations quite diverse, but once you actually start racing, you realize there's a limited number of tracks. The game suffers from what we like to call burnout paradise syndrome, where you end up racing the same 4 circuits over and over and over again. To remove some of the tedium from races and add a slight tactical twist, you can activate one of your 4 power-ups, so long as you've stored them from your earlier races or police evading. They vary from standard nitrous boosts to a traffic magnet that draws pedestrian cars towards your rivals. However, speed boost aside, they're not effective enough to warrant much usage. Seeing as you can't just purchase or trade for the power-ups that you actually want, it's completely potluck whether or not you've got them in the bank when you get into a pinch. The feeling that you're under-equipped for the task at hand is one that plagues much of Need for Speed World and goes against the MMO's normal prepare for every eventuality mentality. After some extended playtime, we can safely say that Need for Speed World isn't going to change the face of MMOs. What it does instead is dabble in some of the mechanics and apply them quite loosely to the series' winning street racing formula. If you've got a lot of time to spare and a wad of cash to blow, you'll find it a fun distraction, but it's never going to drive off with your life.